Hey glampers, it's Mike from Those Who Clamp Together, coming to you from our camper bay, our barn dominium garage, whatever you want to call it. We would be outside because it's nice out actually, but like 30, 35 mile an hour winds. So today we're going to deal with the truck's rear suspension. We've already helped our situation on towing with the MORryde pen box. Today we're installing the Timbren springs on the rear. And if you don't know what Timbren springs are, what they do, every truck comes with a factory installed bump stop. It's supposed to, when your suspension bottoms out, it's supposed to be a helper for your springs. Well, ours is literally maybe 4 inches tall. These are going to replace that. All right, so Timbren will have a set of, they're called rear suspension upgrade kit, or the SES, Timbren SES. They'll have one specific for your make, model of truck. So for the 2019 Silverado, all we have to do is set this down and basically compress it up into where the old one is. So we're going to use a flat tip screwdriver to pry the old ones out. And then we're just going to put this up, try to seat it with a piece of wood or something. We're going to find a way. So I've got this ready to be jacked up in the rear. I've got wheel chocks on the front, and I've got the parking brake set. So we're trying to be as safe as possible. But, all right, so I've got the truck jacked up enough to get in here and work really. So if you can see how much space we have, this piece here is what we're going to be removing. The old bump stop from the factory. And then we're going to be replacing it with this. So let's get busy.
There it is. There it is.
All right, so the first bump stop's out. You can see the difference in size right there. So what this is going to do when it bottoms out, it hits the bottom of your frame right down here of your axle, hits your axle right there. And then that's where your helper springs have to help, because once it hits that, the helper springs are done. So this is supposed to be much more robust, won't compress as easy, and it should make our ride even better with that MORryde pen box. So now the task of trying to get this up in there. I got some soapy water. I'm going to put a little bit up in here if I can. All right, and then we're going to spray this. And for all you old guys with bad knees, get a horse blanket. It really helps your knees when you're doing this kind of work. Try to work it up in here.
It's dark in here.
Yeah. All right, so I got a couple pieces of wood under there. Now I just got to lower it and compress that thing up into it and seat it up in there to the housing. Take my old man blanket. Well, we're down.
Yeah. Oh, you're down all the way? I think it's on, because it's not
Let me see.
showing that lip anymore.
Oh yeah, it's seated. All right, let me raise it. All right, so we got the right side done. It was a little trickier getting it seated because the inside didn't want to seat, but we worked it out. Before we do the other side, I want to measure the difference of how close this one is to the axle as the truck sits versus the other side. It is literally a ½ inch off of the axle over here. And this other side is 4 inches off the axle. So we gain 3.5, or we lose 3.5 inches of play, and these will make contact on every bump where we're going to get that jar. They will help smooth out the road when it's got a load on it, and you won't even know the difference when you don't have a load. It'll ride just like your normal truck. So we're going to get it jacked up again and get this side done. Literally takes a minute, 2 minutes to get these out. Okay, if you want to lower it.
Okay.
Go ahead and raise it up.
Okay.
We'll see really quickly. Oh yeah, it's seated. All right, so out with the old, in with the new. We don't know what they're gonna feel like yet. All I've known is I've watched videos. We are heading out next weekend, so we got about a 2-hour drive with the rig. We're gonna test it out then, we'll let you know. If you're interested, I mean, there is no harm, so it can't hurt anything, it just only helps. If you're interested, these are sold on eTrailer, and we have a link for eTrailer. If you're interested, we'll have that below. And you know, I hope you find this useful information for anybody that tows anything. It doesn't have to be an RV, it could be a cattle trailer, it could be anything you tow that causes you to squat a little bit. This should take out the extra, it should just give you a lot more help with keeping the ride smooth, and that's what we're after. All right, so we're going to measure our gap here while we don't have the rig on. We're heading out today, and we got the Timbren springs installed, so I want to see the difference in squat, and then I want to see if the Timbren springs make contact with our axle after the load. So we got about 2,200, 2,300 pound tongue weight on this RV. So first we're going to measure here, roughly 10 inches. So we got a 10-inch gap here. So we're going to see what it is after we get the RV attached, see how much it squats, and then we'll see if we're making contact. All right, so now we have the rig, all the weight on the back of the truck, so we're going to check out what the squat is. So we're at 9¼ inches, so basically only 3/4 of an inch of squat. So it may not be touching. Oh yeah, it's making contact. So we had about a 1/2 inch, so it is already making contact with the axle. So we'll get to see what the ride is like when we got the More Ride pen box, which did a great job anyway. Now with the Timbren springs helping out our ride. All right, y'all, so we literally just drove 2.5 hours pulling our rig to our campsite. First time hauling the rig with the Timbren springs. And it was almost like riding on an air ride in the back of the truck. Yeah, we got some bumps, of course, because the roads are horrible. But man, it really dampened, and I'm sure that it was working well with this pen box, the More Ride pen box. So you have that with the Timbren springs, and it was such a totally different ride, completely different. So now if I can figure out what to put on the RV helpers, maybe we'll do that next. So just to finish up here, if you haven't got Timbren springs, we'll leave a link down below, and you can check them out. You know, maybe not for you, but it's better than an airbag. You don't have to remove air. And when you don't have a load, your truck rides normal. When you do have a load, it just rides a lot nicer. So just give you the heads up on those Timbren springs, and we hope you enjoyed this video. Happy glamping.